before I jump into this, I want to address the It or Pennywise theory about Pennywise being the 10th anniversary killer based on the narration from the narrator in this teaser. That would be too easy for behavior to literally have the narrator tell us that it is the 10th anniversary killer. That's not their style. Behavior is more subliminal with visual and audio clues, which I will get to in a second here, and how they go about a reveal for a killer. Case in point is the Attack Titan, even though it was a skin, how they had the Attack Titan visual as like a translucent, transparent part of an image or embedded in an image. That's the type of thing that behavior does when it comes to reveals of things. Not just flat out having a narrator just say it to us as an audience. So to prove this, here you can see it for yourself, and it's been up this whole time basically. But clearly at this point in this teaser, you see the literal entity around this character, whoever this character is. So when the narrator is talking about quote it, the narrator is talking about the entity. It's not debatable. He's not talking about Pennywise at all. So with that being said, let's jump into this. As I mentioned a few minutes ago, or a few seconds ago, behavior, these set pieces, or what we're seeing in this teaser, is not random. So we see a character in a subway at the outset of this teaser, followed by this character leaving said subway via the subway station to go out into the middle of a street that's clearly in an urban environment, that is then followed up by a street light in the foreground with buildings in the, or a building / buildings in the background. And the sequence of these two locations are emphasizing something. So with that being said, I can one-to-one these for only one specific horror icon to my knowledge. And before I get to that, I will say this, because somebody will say like, well, there's actually another horror that involves a subway. And I'm gonna beat you to the punch. Yes, off the top of my head, there is only one other horror movie that involves a subway, and that is Midnight Meat Train. And this is not that. You're not gonna set up this grand event for Midnight Meat Train's horror villain. They're not big enough. Now, I would say Midnight Meat Train probably does have a cult following, but not to the extent of who people really believe this is. If you know, you know, right? So, the subway, when I first saw it, it immediately clicked for me. It was instant. And it's clear. It's both the subway and the urban environment, or specifically the building, is in reference to Jason. And like I said, I'm a one-to-one these. So here it is. Here's DBD's teaser, and here is Jason Takes Manhattan. Actual screenshots, and then I'm gonna take these same screenshots and transform them into 2D art or cartoon art to match DBD's visuals. So here we have Jason in the subway. The subway itself, literally a 1-to-1. Then we have, like I said, the follow-up clip to this is the street light. And most people focus on the street light. But that is not what you should be focused on. It's the building that's in the background. And if you look at this building, it is a New York style building with the fire escape like that. And again, here is a 1-to-1. It's not the best, but you can clearly tell that this is what that is. With Jason in the shot and then cropped out of the shot to solely focus on that type of style building. And then following that, or simultaneously, the audio clues. At 39 seconds in, you can hear what is the Friday the 13th type build up to when either Jason appears or is stalking a victim and or gets a kill. And if it's not clear at that point, it is 100% clear at the 110 to 115 mark. This is not debatable. That is Friday the 13th's jingle or melody, whatever you want to call it. Somebody said when I was scrolling through the comments for that teaser that was the sound of a jump scare or something. Like, what horror movie has that exact tune played that way? That's a specific melody or jingle, like jingle or melody, whatever you want to call it. That is 100% Friday the 13th. That same tune at 110 to 115 is played if you played the Friday the 13th game. That's what's played upon Jason's intro to whatever stage you pick. In this case right here is Crystal Lake. You know, I felt it was only right, so that's what this is. So that's 2 for 2. The visuals that I just went over. I have a third one, which is this web part of the teaser, which is, if you look at it, the way that I've captured the screenshot, it is basically Jason's mask. So I'm either 3 for 3 or 2 out of 3. Either way, I say that's a win. Everything points to Jason or Friday the 13th. You know, and then for the webbing of this part of the teaser, it could have been any design. It could have been vertical lines, diagonal lines, horizontal lines. But no, they did this in a specific pattern that, like I said, you see it for yourself. It resembles a mask. This part of the teaser is not for nothing. The entity is in the trailer. Like, the entity is in the trailer, right? Where a lot of people overlooked it, and you can miss it. It's almost like you really gotta watch the teaser in slow motion to kind of see everything. And when you do that, it's right in front of your face. Now, I will say that they blatantly did this. The visuals are blatant. If you know the horror, if you know Jason's horror catalog, Like I said, the subway immediately clicks with you. Followed by the New York style building that's in the background of the street light. Another note that I can throw in here, or a quote fun fact, is that this character, like at the very end of the teaser, or near the end of the teaser, when the character is just standing there and it's like an orange glow on the character's face, if you listen close enough, it's a campfire. That's what that crackling sound is. It is a campfire. So if you add all that up, you put all of those things together, what killer does all of those things apply to? There's only one. Pennywise doesn't do campfires. So, with all that being said, as always, thanks for listening. Peace.